can tell it's Monday. I don't think you're level. That's better. You can definitely tell it's Monday. More and more people around. I think when you're a holiday maker, you don't know what day it is when you come over on holiday to you. But then when you live here, you can just see with the traffic what sort of day it's going to be. You can tell a weekend, you can tell a weekday, but you can definitely tell a Monday without a shadow of a doubt. A lot of traffic, a lot of stuff not moving, which is, I'm glad I've got the scooter. With it being Monday, I've got to do the chores, I've got to go to the bank, try and find a place to cross this road as well. I wanted to tell you, I finished 1984. I said to a friend of mine, the guy at work, the guy that I normally chat with all the time, he's great, he calls himself the most pessimistic man in the world. He's actually a compere. His job is to make people smile. And he calls himself pessimistic. And I said to him, I finally read 1984. And he goes, you didn't read it? I said, well, you know what I mean. I audio booked it. To tell you the truth, if I had to read it, and if I was reading it, I think I'd have put it down. I think I'd have finished halfway through. I think I'd have put it down. Because I think most probably it's a tough read. Especially, I mean, for those that you've read it and know about it, for those that you don't or read it years ago and forgotten about it, it's... there's actually a book inside the book, and it's just like when you there's one chapter on the audiobook that was 1 hour and 15 long, and it was the book in the book. And I tell you what, it was eventually that became a bit of a tough listen. And I think when it's a tough listen, it's like if I was reading this, I don't think I'd have read it. I think I'd have just put it down and just gone, yeah, it's I'm not carrying this on. But thank goodness for audiobooks, because that's the reason why I then finished it. But the question was, the reason why I wanted to read it was, I told you in a previous vlog, was because, you know, a lot of people these days, traffic of people. The reason why I wanted to read it was because a lot of people reference it. A lot of people I listen to reference it these days. Funnily enough, even as much as today, I was out walking the dog today on a 5K. I've been doing 5K every day for the last 8 days now. And I'm listening to a Joe Rogan podcast with Jimmy Carr. It's a fascinating one. It's brilliant because it's almost like it couldn't have come at a better time, because they're actually dissecting comedy. Joe Rogan's also a stand-up comedian, as is Jimmy Carr. And the way they're talking about comedy and dissecting it, I don't think it could have come at a better time for me with the upcoming show that I've got coming this Sunday. Eek. It's like, Jesus Christ. But they were talking about it. And they were talking about the Orwellian state. And they're talking about writers and then George. And I'm like, Christ, it's weird. It's almost like everything just connected in the last couple of weeks, just came together, making sense with each other. So I'm pleased that I did read it, even though Andy says I didn't read it. I'm pleased that I did. I thought I'd give you my verdict on it. And to be honest with you, storyline, not impressed. I thought the story was crap. Why is this book so important in our society? And I can see why it is. It's more down to his descriptive narration of what the world was like. I think he wrote it in 1948, and then flicked to 48. So that's the reason why the title became 1984. So the way he describes the way the world is, I get it. It's completely almost as if he's predicting the future. It's almost as if he's predicting the future. It's just so very close to modern day. And some of the statements that he puts in there, you know, he who controls the present controls the past. He who controls the past controls the future. And you're listening to this and you're going, I think he puts these out very early in the first chapters, I think. War is peace, slavery is freedom. And then he spends the whole book explaining what he means with it. And in the end of it, I think you get it and you go, yeah, I get it. So like the descriptive side of it and the narrative, the way he describes the way the world is in such detail and clarity is fantastic. The actual story of Winston Smith and Julia wasn't really, for me, strong, but that's my own personal view. But I've read it, and I'm pleased to say that I've read it. Well, not read it, I've listened to it, but I'm pleased to say I've listened to it. And I finished about 3 days ago. I went, right, okay, let's go and have another look for another one. So I'm on Audio Library, which I've paid the subscription for, 12 quid or whatever it was. I went looking for another one, and you can't get another one until next month. Does that mean I spent 12 quid on a book? I went, is it worth it? And I went, no. So I've unsubscribed. I've gone back to my podcasts, and I'm now, as I said to you, I'm now 2.5 hours into Joe Rogan chatting with Jimmy Carr, who I get Jimmy Carr's a comedian. I think I think he can be very funny. 8 out of 10 Cats I thought was hilarious. I think his dark material stuff, it's just not my cup of tea. So, but very clever. But this conversation with Joe Rogan, brilliant, absolutely brilliant, fascinating insight, really fascinating, and interesting to see. So, if you get a chance to look at that, it's free on Spotify. The Joe Rogan and Jimmy Carr one. It's only been done about maybe a month ago, but very, very fascinating. So, I'm at the point where I'm walking at the same pace with somebody, so I'm going to stop, and I'll take this up in a second. See you in a minute. I'm at the bank now anyway, so I'll stick the money in, and then we'll start again in a couple of seconds. Stick with us. Got a couple more things to say. What's till the end? I don't know why I'm saying that, but there you go. We're waiting for the whole war machine. As always over here in Tenerife, nothing works always. So this one's closed. This guy at the front just went closed, no function now, doesn't function. Went okay, no problem. He went 5 minutes to 5 minutes. It's just the norm over here. You want to go? I told you I think on the previous vlog, the parking ticket one, about the banks. They're a breed apart over here. They really are. It's like going to a bank in Tenerife. It's actually a traumatic experience. You just never know if it's going to work or not. It's absolutely crazy to see. Well, there we go. So we'll just wait 5 minutes and see. We're not in a rush anyway. See if it gets up and running. I have actually had it once in a different bank. I put 500 quid in, and it chewed all my money up, and it gave me like 200 back. And that was a harrowing experience. Half an hour in the bank because there was a queue. And I'm like, that machine just nicked me money, honestly. And she opened it up and there's just money everywhere and said, yeah, we need to just work it out and we'll get back to you. And you're like, how far behind is this system to get that way? But there we go. I've then given up on the audiobooks, but I've gone back onto the podcasts. But I'll tell you what I've also done, which is quite interesting, is listening to the podcast with Jimmy Carr. They were talking about stuff about 1970s films, actually. And they were talking about how the classic films of yesteryear are not there anymore, which I've also believed in. But you mentioned a couple of films that I think I most probably now need to go and have a look at. One of them is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which I have never ever seen. I know it's Jack Nicholson, I know it's supposed to be in a mental home, but apparently it's to do with communism and capitalism. So I'm seeing if that's what opening. Communism and capitalism. So I've just got to wait and I think I'm going to give that one a go. And the other one was Taxi Driver, which I've heard the title so many times. But they were talking about what a classic film this is and how good it is. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I may as well give that a go as well. Have you seen any of these ones? If you've seen them, I'm still on Netflix's Painkiller at the moment and just seeing how that one goes. I'm quite into that because that's based on truth. Like, it's a fictional story, but based on truth. It's about the opioid epidemic in America at the moment, which also, funnily enough, Joe Rogan talks about a lot. So, yeah, there's stuff on that as well, which is quite good. I'm sure I'm missing something. I'm going to take my place in the queue, and I'll see you in a minute. No, give up. Not bothering. Not waiting. It's a regular occurrence over here that things just don't work. You just have to accept it. I think the simplicity of the banking system in the UK, we could learn from that, I think, over here. But there we go. That's a different point. I'm actually out and about today looking. I'm searching for a hat, believe it or not. I need a hat for fancy dress. I can't abide fancy dress. It's definitely 100% not my thing. But now that I'm in the job I'm in, I'm doing the compound, having a fancy dress night, when you get everyone dressed up, it's part of the job. It's like, well, you've got to do it. And I've managed to get myself the sweater. I've managed to get myself the glove for Freddy Krueger. But I need a hat. So I'm on the lookout for a hat, see if I can find one. I think he has an old leather hat, which is mostly going to be quite expensive. And I'm not looking, so I thought I just need to try and manipulate something. Maybe like you can get one of these touristy straw hats and then cut them to pieces a little bit and get a right dark colour or something, make it look a bit shabby. So that's what I've come out for as well, to go to the bank and do that. So at the moment, I'm 1 for 0 on the bank. So I now need to go and see if I can find the hat. If I walk up to there while filming this, it's great, and then film back, and then I'm just done. But now I've just walked up there for no reason. Always good. Always good. Yes, that's what I was talking. I knew there was something. This Sunday, 6 days away, is the first stand-up performance. I'm not necessarily bricking it. I'm busy in my head structuring it of how I want it to go, how I want it to be, and how I want to work it out, just so I'm working out as like 3 minutes of 20 minutes. So if I do 3 sections of 20 minutes of different stuff, that should be all right, and that should get me there. I think also Kim knows that if I get 50 minutes out of it or 45 minutes out of it, she'll be fine with that as well, because it's the first one. I'm busy trying to get that sorted, and I know, like, after today's Monday, I'm gracing myself, this is a day off on Monday today, but as of tomorrow, it's like head down and 100% all the way through it to work on it, to try and get myself sorted, and to get this one polished off as much as possible. But it's now actually 5 years that I've been here in Tenerife this month. I've been here 5 years, and a lot's happened, a lot's changed, including this in the last 5 years. I actually met somebody last night who is going through a really, really bad time, follows the channel, going through a really, really bad time, and they're actually living it in the moment. They're in the middle of it, and the only thing I could say to them was, look, I said, I'm 5 years down the line now, and all I can say to you is, in 5 years' time, your position will not be in this position. And as I said before, I am not qualified in any of this at all. All I know is from my own experience, but I just know in 5 years' time, it will all be different. And that's any consolation to anybody out there. If you're at the lowest of your low, in essence, it means you've bottomed out. And the only way from there to go after that is going to be up, isn't it? So I'm just wondering where I'm going to go get this hat. I don't really know this area very well. I do come around here, but driving it, but I don't really shop around here, so I don't really know it. But I suppose I'll keep my eyes out of it. I think I've took up enough of your time. I think I've waffled long enough and took enough time of your day up, so I'm going to leave it here. And as always, a lot of people. As always, for those that have subscribed, thank you so much. If you want to consider subscribing, it is absolutely free. I'd really appreciate it. I've just seen a tat shop with some hats, and I'll see you on the next one. In the meantime, I'm going to go looking for some hats. Not that style. It's not that style. I'm going to have to try and look for Freddy Krueger. I'll probably Google him and see what comes up. But for now, as always, I'll see you on the next one. Cheers, guys. All the best.